y'all think. If you whatever the fuck you think you are. And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit.
All right. Peace and love, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Welcome to the Black Alpha Network. I appreciate the pull up. I got my brothers here. Y'all know we were chopping it up in the back channel, so please forgive us. But we're going to go in today. It's been a hell of a day and nothing but, certified foundational Black American empowerment. We're going to continue that empowerment. I got my 2 brothers, so y'all already know them, so we're not going to get into all the goddamn semantics. This is my brother Afro Elite. This is my brother Sage. We represent certified foundational Black Americans, and we're going to talk about all the haters in the world today. Afro, how you doing? Sage, how you doing, family?
Bless, brother. Thank you for having me.
Bless, my brother, as always. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir, man. We're going to break it down today, y'all. There's been a lot going on. Y'all been seeing all 3 faces a lot, man, because we try to be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We try to be everywhere. We try to hold it down and represent all aspects of the community. So right here, you got a little bit of the North, the Midwest, and the South all in one place. Shout out to everybody in the West Coast and all 5 Black people who live on Mountain Time. Salute to y'all too, man. Y'all need us, man. So we're going to break down a lot of good stuff. All right. I want to talk to my brothers right now as well as everybody in chat. Oh, and salute to the chat. I appreciate y'all. Certified all the way live. Welcome to the Certified Black Society. We're going to do it big. I want to talk about the conspiracy against foundational Black Americans, but I want to get a little deeper into it. I don't want to just talk about it in a vague sense. I want to talk about it in terms of the lineage as a whole. So whatever people identify as, I'm talking about us foundational Black Americans, the whole family tree. But I also want to talk about it in terms of the term foundational Black Americans, because we get in on a whole lot of different sides, family. So I want to ask the brothers real quick some of the things that they notice, and anybody in the chat, if you guys got some things that y'all see, please tell us. I want everybody's opinion. I want everybody's thoughts, because it's going to take all of us to get it going. And by the way, shout out to DMX. You already know what time it is all day. So I want to talk about that real FBA soul, man. I want to break it down in a real FBA way. And I just want everybody to know that there's haters everywhere. There's haters all around, but we not only just see them, we see past them all the way to the bank. Brother Sage, can you tell us some of the things that you've been seeing from the OMB to our reparations when we was at the rally about a lot of these people who are basically genuinely conspiring to stop foundational Black Americans? You got people teaming up before Afro. Remember you said it's like the Adventures. When all these other groups start teaming up, they don't even get along with each other.
Yeah,
they teaming up.
Legion of Doom.
Yeah, brother. I want y'all to tell us some of the things y'all been seeing about all these forces that got to get together to stop one lineage. I mean, we're powerful and the whole world got to do it. So Sage, I'll ask you, and then Brother Afro, and then y'all know we don't do this stuff all rehearsed and all scripted. We just let it flow FBA style. So go ahead, my brother. Let us know what's on your mind.
Yes. So the way I look at it is like this. This lets us know that we're winning. When you're, in charge and you're the one that's leading the pack, everyone else is going to fall in line. So people will try to gang up and team up to get to where we are. But this is good, as our brother Jason Black says. This is good because at the end of the day, that's something that I say we want. That's something that, is needed. And if people are going to gang up and form the Legion of Doom, that's fine. That can't take us off of our mission. As far as the OMB, it was a lot of confusion, I would say, in there, and it was a lot of people that came out with Negro, ADOS, Black American. These things were like very, very important. Can you give me 1 second, guys? I'm so sorry. Afro, can you take this 1 second?
Oh, yeah, I get you. Okay. As our brother's getting ready, I'm gonna say, as far as the overall hate, are you back?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
That was quick as hell, man. God damn, it's like you flashed and flashed back.
Or like I just got to give him a quick stop and a look, and anyway, yeah. So like I said, we have to be really on code again because people are on code against us. This is something that's very important as far as the OMB, and there's going to be a lot of distractions. A lot of people are confused out here, and a lot of people don't necessarily have the answers. Not to say that we do, but we have a term that's locked in box, something that cannot be remixed, something that cannot be trumped, something that a person can't glom onto. That's what we want, and that's something that I think is needed. That's something that the family can gather and get behind. Now, as far as like the crazy day that happened again, there's going to be some people that's that's I would say have intelligence to bring, and there's going to be some people that don't. And the people that don't have intelligence to bring, they're trying to substitute that intelligence for trolling or cooning of some sort. But again, that we have to play past that. We're gonna get cooned we're gonna get trolled every day. You're gonna see coons every day, but you got to play past that. With foundations, we've been doing that since the days of Malcolm. So shout out to Malcolm and X on your shirt. But that's something that is important because again, when it's serious times, it's not game time. We need to perform, and I'm not talking about like playing a sports game. I'm talking about perform like in the arena of intelligence.
Go ahead, brother Afro.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. I want to say, people say I recently heard this thing of there's a bunch of beefs in the reparations movement. FBA is beefing with ADOS. FBA is beefing with Freedmen. FBA is the thing is that FBA is a term for the lineage. Now, people are FBA whether they want to be or not. Either you're FBA or you're not. You can't, I was FBA today or yesterday, but I'm not today. It don't work that way. Okay. Now, whether people choose to use it or not, that's a different story. But you FBA regardless. The thing is that we as FBA, we're just empowering ourselves. We're just progressing ourselves in the movement ahead of us. And we calling out flaws in off-code behavior. We're calling out flawed logic and we're calling out off-code behavior. It's not because this is some competition like ADOS. This is not we're not in competition with ADOS. There's nothing that they can compete with. You saw when they fell out and then they had separate events, you saw how everybody fell to the FBA event. Nobody was at the ADOS event. So there's really no competition. It's just the fact that you have some people who see the movement, see the progression, and want to stop it either out of jealousy because they want to be the head people in charge. They want to be the mother of the movement. They want to be the mother of reparations or the father of reparations. Or you have some people who are not qualified to get reparations and they want to stop it that way. We have a lot of people who dislike the FBA movement and FBAs in general for many different reasons. And we see that we're not doing anything, and we can honestly tell who's the good guy in the situation because we're the ones who all of the bad guys seem to dislike. Everybody who's been off code, everybody who has funny style backgrounds, everybody who's, moving in this type of way that's against Black society, they all have one single thing in common, and that thing is their disdain and hatred for foundational Black Americans and the movement in progress that we're doing. So that lets you know that we're the good guys in the situation.
Man, see, my brother Afro Elite be throwing me them alley-oops, man. Appreciate that, bro. I was just about to get to that, where if you look at everybody out there, you can look at ADOS, you can look at Freedmen, you can look at Foundational Black Americans, the term in which we use. You could tell who's really coming from the Black grassroots based upon opposition, based upon who comes at us. Like, people come at us all the time. Like any ADOS, do they even make ADOS spaces? I don't know if they do or not. If they do, they're not. There probably be a bunch of like great grandparents in there and stuff like that. So I don't really know. I don't be involved with it, but I know Foundational Black Americans, that term and the terms that we use and the work that we put in, it actually moves the needle. So we get a lot of opposition. I've seen brothers and sisters make spaces and they'll have like 30 people in it, but somehow a troll will find its way in. There's always opposition. So if you ever want to understand the dominant society and the system of supremacy, just understand the people who receive the most opposition are the ones who are genuine. ADOS, like the OMB situation, it was kind of fishy. Like every third caller was ADOS. It seemed like they're very lenient to him. ADOS, you've seen them on CNN doing interviews. Me and you talked about that before, Sage. You see this kind of assistance almost from the dominant society. There's a guy, and he sounds like he's chewing rocks. And Afro Leader said that the guy needs some lotion. We even tried to get a Cash App going for the guy to get some lotion. He's doing interviews in the Washington Post. Everybody in the chat, I want to know if you know who I'm talking about. Put his name in there if y'all know what I'm talking about. But he's always talking about the Freedmen and the Reparations, and he always talks like that. And he's in the Huffington Post, and they did an interview with him. And none of these people have the platform that some of the foundational Black American people have. So we see an assistance when it comes to them, but you see resistance when it comes to us. One more time. They get assistance, we get resistance. And if you examine history, anytime that's ever happened, the people who receive the most resistance are the genuine Black grassroots people. There were a lot of groups in the 1960s and 70s, but the Black Panthers received the most resistance because they were the one of and for the people. And there was a lot of other folks that was getting high-fived and people were holding their hands because they were working with the people, not the people that we represent. So I'm glad you said that, brother. And I want to get to this little clip where we've all been on record saying that we know the dominant society in a lot of ways, they would love and they prefer to deal with tethers because tethers are more obedient. Tethers are more passive, more docile. They don't really like dealing with foundational Black Americans because we go at it. Like we put it in. Like we're the only people who've ever fought back consistently. Not one-hit wonders, not somebody who did something in 1804 or whatever. Foundational Black Americans, we can't pick one year. Ain't no 1 year where we did this stuff, man. We all did it. Brother Afro Elite, Brother Sage, me, everybody in the chat, we can look at our grandparents or our parents and our grandparents, and they all put in that work the same way we're trying to do it. So we have a lineage of fighting back. I found the clip today, like an hour before we went on, where you see two W's, people from the dominant society, and they're talking about the difference between Africans and Black Americans. Now, they say African American, but we know it really is foundational Black American. And they openly say they prefer to deal with somebody from Africa opposed to a foundational Black American, which is something that we've all spoke of before. So I'm going to play a clip real fast, family, and I want everybody to notice the difference of how they're he and kakan when it comes to the dominant society loving Africans and preferring them above us. I'm going to play it for the family real quick, and I want everybody to check this out.
In Poland, they switched it out with Nigerians. It would be a completely different country.
Exactly, yeah. How do you feel? Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I mean, did you think that makes me a white supremacist to say that?
No, that kind of makes sense, like what you're saying. Personally, I'm trying to get my Africans in America, so we're not gonna support that. Look at, please make it easy for me to immigrate next year.
Well, I will say, hey, they are more industrious than American blacks.
Get blessing in.
Well, I will say, hey, they are more industrious than American blacks.
Get blessing in.
He can stay.
Man, oh man. Man, oh man, whoever wants to take that, boy, they was giggling and laughing all day. But you see what he said. This ain't us saying it. That's their words. We only take what they say and give them receipts back. They prefer tethers over us. Afro, I see your face, family. You take that one first.
Well, first off, I want to say shout out to the Black Authority because, he played that clip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that he played that clip on his second channel, The Business. I haven't finished watching that video. I think I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I saw it on Twitter. But the thing is that he says they're more industrious. When they say they're better than us, they always speak of it in vague industrious where? Because the thing is that Africa is a continent. Africa is a whole continent. Africa is not a country of people. So you're talking about the entire continent. Is everybody on the entire continent just overall better than everybody in this country, which is just one single country? And if we look at the whole situation, where is Africa more industrious, more hardworking, more intelligent than Black people here? If you take the best of Africans and you compare them to the average Black American, then you would have the advantage. If you take the best of the best and compare them to the best of the best here, There is no comparison. You talk about they're more industrious. If they were more industrious, they wouldn't need the Chinese to come over. They're letting the Chinese come over, tie them up and whip them and beat their ass. And because they need their industry. And I'm not trying to beat up on the Africans, but the thing is, and what I really don't like about that is because you will have some tethers who will listen to that clip and say, see, you see, it's y'all fault. They'll take that and it fuels them. I said this before and I'll say it again. They listen to white people when they say things like, oh my God, you know, we don't hate the blacks, we just hate the African Americans. You're cool, Mbuki. You're great. We love you. They're like, oh, thank you very much. They like that. Okay. They feed off of that. They listen to them because they are mentally colonized and they feel as if white people are almost like their parental figure, and they treat and interact with white people like their parental figure. So that's why when what a white person says goes, just like what your parents say go. If your dad says, this is why the sun comes up, you're just going to take it as a fact because your dad said that. That's why when a white person says, this is what the situation is, they take that as fact because that's what they view white people. And I'm not saying all, of course, but a lot of them view white people as their parental figures over there. So you have them coming over here, and that's a lie. Nick Fuentes is lying. They're not more industrious. They're not more hardworking. They're not more intelligent. They're not more anything except complacent. They are more obedient and they are more submissive. And they acquiesce to the system a lot easier than black people in America, foundational black Americans. And I'll pass that to you, Sage.
Okay, so first of all, let's start with Nick Fuentes. I'll take everything that a white supremacist says with a grain of salt. So he has a beef with us again because, you know, even though he's accepted amongst white supremacists, he's not necessarily Anglo, especially not with that last name. My issue with Nick Fuentes, my issue with Kanye is, why in the hell was he hanging with this guy, knowing what he said in his career? That's my only issue with Kanye. I don't have no other issue with Kanye. I've said that publicly. As far as that, 1.6, according to George Frazier, I hope a lot of people in this chat know who George Frazier is. $1.6 trillion is our spending ability as foundational black Americans. $1.6 trillion. That's more than any country in Africa. Don't sit here and talk about anyone works harder than us when we have more money than every single country in Africa, including the Nigerians, including the wherever you want to name, the Ghanaians. We have more spending ability, more spending power than anyone. How do lazy people gather $1.6 trillion within a country that actually disenfranchised them, Jim Crowed them, redlined them, black codes them, and we still were able to overcome? No, we're not lazy. No. I don't know where they work harder than us. That's some right-wing, white supremacist troll line that gets to some people's emotions. But as a foundational black American, again, you have to see past the bullshit. Like I said, excuse my language, you have to see past the mess. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, we can't get caught up on words. And as far as this girl, because again, Jason did it was like 3-4 hour broadcast on her. I don't know who she is. I don't, I know a lot of, people, they see, a white girl and that somewhat looks down and, they have like a savior kind of complex. We need to stop supporting things like that. If a person shows you who they are, believe them. And I'm sorry. Yeah, so if a person shows you who they are, believe them. And again, there's no way in hell that people can have 1.6 trillion and be lazy. We are, according to George Frazier, and I think he said this on Gentrified? We are no. It might have been gentrified. It might have been Hidden Colors. He said we are equal to Qatar, the country Qatar. And I believe that's in the Middle East, family. Okay, this is where a lot of Saudis live at. They live in Qatar. So you being a foundational Black American, you are equal to them. They have airplanes. Qatar, they own a lot of businesses out there. They own oil, and we have just as much money as them. We don't own oil. We don't own airplanes. So that shows you, no, we're not lazy. No one outworks us. The only issue is that, again, they're taking jobs at a lower paying rate than we would. That does not mean that we're lazy. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic.
I'm glad you pointed that out, brother, because all these tether talking points, as you say, they come straight out of the dominant society. And that ties into what you were saying, brother Afro, where you can tell who they're getting it from or their mentality is identical. 9 times out of 10, when you see a tether, you see basically a supremacist and blackface. That's basically what it is. They come over here and spew the same things. You would think this is coming from a damn Klan rally when you hear a lot of that y'all work, y'all don't work hard to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Man, that straight comes from, as you said, brother, say some right-wing propaganda. And you see that time after time again. When these people call in our Twitter spaces, man, first thing they say, they's like, y'all don't work hard enough and we need to do. And you can already tell where they done got that from. So I don't know on one hand how somebody can say that they're your brother and we're all friends and we all get along. And then on the other hand, they sit here and say these things about you that sound like they come literally from the Republican or Democratic National Convention. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And they're upset that we're calling it out. And that actually leads me to another point in which I was going to make, brothers, is that this era, and we've all talked about this before, this era is changing the game where we're actually genuinely calling out everything. Tether didn't even exist 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that term, you could tell it lights them up. It triggers them so bad. They get so upset at that term because there was never really a term for people who try to latch on. And people have to understand, we don't just go after the African tethers, okay? We go after all of the tether groups, tethers that latch on to us. That's a cop-out that they try to use against us and be like, y'all just come after the Africans and stuff so they can hit us with the black-on-black divisive stuff. Same thing goes on with people south of the border. We go in on their type of tethers as well because they tether all the time. And also, if you come over here and you respect the culture and you respect the people who built it, then there ain't no problem. We cool. We ain't got nothing to say about people. It's the people who tether on to us. So speaking of that, family, and all the hatred that we receive as foundational Black Americans, there's something else I want to show the family. And I have seen this just earlier today. Somebody sent this to me. Somebody was hating on foundational Black Americans. I want y'all to see this right here. Do y'all see that? This is what came across my line. Yeah, right there. This goes right along with the whole tethered Black African or whatever, tethered blooded African. You see that? Is that us being divisive or is that somebody being divisive towards us? I'll let y'all brothers take that one.
Okay, so let me jump in here first. Yes, it's very divisive. I don't know. Again, we live rent free. I don't know how we're so lazy and all that. When we live rent free in people's minds, we work every day because people wake up with us on their mind. You know how that Bucci Bear cartoon is when it's sleeping and it's saying Tariq's name?
Yeah.
This is how these people got us in their mind. I don't understand. You have one like on that, bro. Like, no disrespect. Like, there's one like on that. You spent your time to do that, and I bet you this person probably lives in America. He don't live or she don't live where they're from, and you spent time to try to disrespect the people that made a way for you to come here. So again, it's very disingenuous. I don't understand what the real beef is between them, and it's not with us because again, we don't necessarily care. We keep the same smoke across the board. And these people just see again, but this is our fault because coming up, we always embrace them like brothers, like family, and now we're saying we have to get something in spite of. And they don't know how to take that. So the fact that we're saying, listen, we're going to get our reparations and y'all got to go back to where y'all from and get it over there. They're like, no, what about me? And it doesn't necessarily work that way. This is something reparations, something totally different from, you being quote unquote Black like me. So again, this is basically them not being able to tether their way in. They can't, and this is why I bring it back again to the FBA acronym. This is why foundational Black Americans fit so well, because they know that they can't tether their way into it. So they create little jokes like this to try to make it seem like it's not something that can be admired. Don't miss that, family. Don't miss that. If this was an African American moniker, correct? They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that for an African American moniker. You understand? Like, they would only do that for something that does not represent them. So if you are of this lineage, I don't see why you would be against FBA. That's on you, Afro.
Well, I'm gonna say I find it very ironic, actually. The Fatherless Bastards Association. Okay, all right. Now, if we were to talk about how many of the men from Africa come over to America, leave their kids, leave their wives at home, come over here. They talk about, I am not married, I am a single man, and the first thing they look for is an FBA sister to get up with. They talk a lot of shit about FBA sisters online, but best believe that's the listen. Here's how you know that y'all winning, sisters. Here's how you know how y'all winning. Okay, with the passport balls, all that stuff. Is because every time somebody come over here, they trying to get with you. They ain't trying to get with they folks when they come over here. Now, there is African women over here, but they ain't looking at them. They checking for y'all. All right. So y'all left y'all family, y'all left y'all kids, and y'all coming over here cheating. And whatever, the Princess Amunda, I'm rich back at home. You just got to wait for my EBT card to work. Let's get this marriage through, and then everything gonna kick in. I'm gonna have $10 million hit my account the second my marriage license go through. Come on, I got to be a citizen. So they do all of that stuff, and they have the audacity to call somebody else a fatherless bastard. Okay, when according to the CDC, and I did a video about this not too long ago, like maybe a year or so, according to the CDC, Black American fathers are the number one fathers in their kids' lives collectively around America. We are the number one fathers. Well, but I'm saying we as a collective, right? Number one fathers to feed the kids as babies, number one fathers to do homework with the children, number one fathers to read to the children, number one fathers to go to the children's sporting events, and I can go on and on and on. Okay, beating everybody out the ballpark. So they should be the last ones talking about fatherless bastards. Okay, because that's probably what his son and daughter is saying about him, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Man, boy, y'all cooking today. Damn, I had the whole thing I was gonna say, and I promise y'all said to exactly lay that out, beat me to it. Yes. What gets me, family, is once again, don't that sound like some supremacist talk? That sounds straight up supremacist talk. You can literally hear fucking Bill O'Reilly or Tucker Carlson say the same exact thing. Those type of notions, Fatherless Bastard Association, they don't know the FBA. We've been hearing that from the dominant society here in America for the last 60 years. And like you said, Afro, even when the statistics show different, that they still say these things. So, I mean, the tethers are nothing but supremacists and blackface. That's all they are. They want to be so bad. And, you know, another point y'all put it down. Another point y'all made is when they come here, they want to get with our women, okay? And their women a lot of times come here and want to go get with Ken. I mean, TikTok has the most tether swirler videos I've ever seen in my life. And remember, y'all, when you put a tether and a swirler together, you get a twirler. So they be out here twirling all goddamn day long, twirling left and right until they can get them a Ken or a Karen or a Bob or a Sally or whatever the hell. So that type of stuff right there is trash. That came across my line today. And you know what's funny is that it came across my line when we were in the space and we were talking about the same subject. I mean, they got whole types of stuff that they be dropping on us. Y'all seen the fake flag one that they had. And yo, Sage, you made a point with the OBM, OMB, goddamn. With the OMB, you made a point. You said, say foundational Black American. Remember, you kept saying that, brother. You said, say it out, because now they're making acronyms based on that. Elaborate to me on that one, brother, why it's important that we say foundational Black American.
We don't want no confusion. In a nutshell, we don't want no confusion. You want to say out the word in its entirety. You don't want to, like some people got up there and was saying ADOS. What the hell does that even mean? You understand? So we want to know, I mean, I know what it means, but what I'm saying is they may not, well, they might be on the tape, but we never know. But they may not know what it means. You understand? So when you say foundational Black American, you want to be very specific. This is what I'm saying. You know, FBA, foundational Black American. You can say FBA after you say it, but again, you want to say out the word. If you guys, and I urge you guys, all 200 of you that's in here right now, please write to the OMB right there. I want to identify as a foundational Black American. That's all you have to write. It takes 2 seconds out the day, family. 2 seconds. And the fact that, you know, again, you don't want to write FBA because you don't want to leave room for confusion. Neely Fuller always talks about confusion. We need to get that out of the mix, because once we get the confusion out of the mix, you know, we'll be good to go. We'll be home free. There's one thing I do want to touch on too. I know you're probably going to touch on it later on, but I see y'all ran across a suspected white supremacist in the space today that brought up the fact that he's dating a Black female. Now, I want to put this on record. I don't give a who you date doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a white supremacist. Richard Spencer's not with a white girl, if you guys know that, okay? I believe his wife is Asian, okay? There are a lot of white supremacists that do not have white women. There are some white supremacists that have Candace Owens, okay? So, again, we don't know where that sister is from, but the fact that you have to bring up the fact that you're dating someone that's Black lets me further know where your mindset is or where your ideology is. That doesn't give you a pass among us if you're dating someone that looks like us. That doesn't give you a pass. So to any white supremacist, because I know you lurk on my brother's channel, that's fine. Any white supremacist that's watching in, the fact that you feel that you can throw out there, oh, I'm dating a Black woman, makes you seem less racist. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't pass the mustard. You can say I have a Black friend. Dylan Roof had a Black friend. What were you saying, sir? So I'm glad that you guys addressed it when you did, because that was some BS, if I may.
Man, hey, did you see that, Afro? Were you in the space that time?
I wasn't as a speaker, but I was listening.
Yeah, that dude ran through the whole gambit of supremacy. And, you know, and for the record, we have not confirmed whether that is a real woman or a blow-up doll. All right. So we don't know yet. The jury's still out on that one. Trailer Park Matt. So, you know, he ran through the whole gambit. And that's one of the reasons why I actually like spaces. Y'all know when Tariqa had those spaces and he'll be like, you can tell when Tariq's like, let's focus on issues, but let's do a little roast session. When Tariq brings up those tethers and those supremacists, it's a playbook on how to handle them. It's a playbook on how to handle them, because, you know, we've been plagued before in the past, our community, where people get emotional. Actually, Afro, you had a space. Remember, our Black people too emotional. You remember that?
Yes.
And you remember that, brother? You broke it down like verbatim. Like, Black folks used to get mad and be upset and crying. Black Lives Matter. They would do that stuff. They'd be out there, hands up, don't shoot, crying. Someone, why? Supremacists will tell them why. Well, I do it because I don't like y'all. Well, why don't you like us? Because I just don't like you. Well, when did you come to this? It's the same play, man. So I love the fact that we roast them and we just show them like how to, you know, get out the paint. We remove them. We escort their asses off the block. I want to ask you, Afro, what are some of the ways that you handle them, or just what would you encourage people to handle when you come across these tethers and these dominant society members? Because, you know, they're pretty much hand in hand. But what are some of the things you do when you come across them, fam, to where you let them know, like, nah, y'all not going to waste time. You're not going to play with us. You're not going to run us in circles. We're going to go ahead and regulate you. What are some things you do, brother, when you come across them?
Well, one of the things that first off, great question. One of the things that I do is I like to ask very direct and specific questions, and I do not allow them to deflect. I don't allow them to change this topic. I don't allow them to go anywhere else. Okay. Now we can have a conversation, but you have to answer this specific question. And the thing is that when they come to you, they don't like to answer specific questions, because that will expose their true agenda behind why they're in the space, why they're in the conversation, why they're asking you this, what they're trying to get intel for. It will expose that. So they need to keep this mystique about themselves. All you have to do is unveil them by being all like, okay, so what makes you ask that? Be very, very specific and short and straight to the point. don't let them talk too much, because they will talk and they will try to lose you with the words. They will go on this long rant about, oh yeah, I saw, there was this black guy and he didn't have any shoes and I had some old shoes, so I gave it to him. And that was back in 6th grade. They'll give you the whole gambit and kind of string you along. Do not allow them to string you along. When that person came into space, you ask them, okay, why are you even asking this question? Which was a very good question to ask, because the first thing he said, and I wasn't able to speak at the time, Twitter was tripping. The very first thing he said was, I listened to you guys and I'm enjoying the conversation. I just want to know what FBA means.
Mm-hmm.
So it clicks in your head. You're listening, you're enjoying the space, but you don't know what FBA means. How does that make sense? So when you ask him, why are you asking that? Where are you coming from? What is your intention here? Because there are some people who think they can teach white people to not be racist. Well, FBA means da 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 da, and they will entertain where he's going, and then he'll question you like it's an interview, and he'll wind up getting you. It'll be a Q&A, and he's the one asking you the question. You'll be the one on the defensive end. You need to stand firm on the offense. Before we answer any question, why are you asking? What is your intention in this question? Because you said you've been watching and you like what you hear, but you don't know what FBA is. Well, why are you asking that question? So you got him right there. He kind of tried to adapt, but he really failed to do that. So you have to be very specific. You have to be very direct. Don't be on the defensive. You do not owe them any answers. So if Alpha wanted to shut him up and said, "Nah, get off the stage. We don't got time for you," he could have did that.
Correct.
You do not owe these people any answers. We have this thing in our society where and it stems from slavery and Jim Crow and all that. They feel like when a white person asks you a question, you got to answer that question. You don't have to answer their questions. Every time they come into the conversation, it's not a Q&A where they're the ones with the notebook asking you the questions. They don't have that authority. Okay, and that's what Black Alpha displayed, that when you're in my space, I'm the one with the authority. You are not the one with the authority. You have to keep that in every single type of situation that you wind up being in, where they're mysteriously asking questions.
What do you feel about that, Sage?
I agree 100%. I think he came in initially to troll. I caught that also. He said, I like you guys. I listen to you guys. So how in the hell is it that you don't know what a foundational Black American is? You came here to troll, bro, and we're not on troll time right now. There's a time in which we are on troll time, and there's a time in which we're not on troll time, and we were up there to discuss serious business. And you got into our conversation, so you had to be handled accordingly. So again, that's my feeling on that situation with that dude. That dude, he literally came in there to waste your time, and he wanted to throw the energy off. That's what they do. They want to throw the energy of the whole space off. So if I can throw off this energy, then I can get you shifted to talking about some mindless babble that is not productive at all. And then we have a whole 4, maybe even 5 hour space about mindless babble. And a lot of people do that online. But, on this side, we're not really known to do that. We have a specific agenda and we want to talk about specific topics. So when people come in and start trolling, it's time to get them off the stage. But I love the way how you handled it, because, again, Neely Fuller teaches us to get into question mode. And that's why you control the narrative. You start asking questions. You do not allow other people to ask questions to that extent. And that's exactly what you did. You got into question mode. Every time you deal with a white supremacist family, you get into question mode. Don't try to, sit there and plead to his emotions. No. Get into question mode and then let him speak or her speak. They'll tell you everything you want to know.
Family, I'm going to say it like this. I'm glad y'all said that, because what people don't understand is when you start answering somebody's questions, you're like on the defensive now. You're playing their game when they do that. In dominant society, they operate in reverse psychology. But it's so funny that we hear. I actually found the clip, so I'm going to play it for everybody who did catch it. We call this Trailer Park Matt, by the way, because you already know that he was broadcasting straight from a lice-infected goddamn trailer park. But I'm gonna play the clip real quick for the family to listen to. Afro, let me know if you can hear this, family. I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna let the people know this is how you regulate them, and this will end up going on like 2 or 3 hours going our space.
Fellows.
I'm gonna see if you can hear
So
it.
go ahead and unmute yourself, Matthew. What you got, brother?
I hear it.
Yeah, what's going on? I just have a couple questions.
Started off with a question. Started off questioning us, man. So family, listen, this is how you regulate them. This is how you roast them. This is how we did things.
Into you guys.
No. Play that again, Black Alpha. Rewind that because
Rewind that.
Rewind that because you notice what he said right after that question.
All right, this is gonna be the lead in, and then we're gonna slide through, and then I'll let my brothers comment.
But with that being said, we do have Matthew here.
That's Beatzilla, by the way.
One of our Caucasian fellows. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Matthew. What you got, brother?
Yeah, what's going on? I just have a couple questions. I like listening to you guys.
Boom.
So I just didn't know what is a foundational Black American? Like, if you were to describe it.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna describe it. First off, before I describe it, I want to know why you want to know.
So I could understand, so I could proceed. Knowing like why do I introduce myself as Matthew? So you know my name, okay? So we can continue forward.
Well, your name is as an individual. You know what I'm saying? That's a little different than a lineage. So I don't really like that comparison.
So it's a lineage.
It's a bad example. It was a bad example. I mean, hell, when I go to Taco Bell, I don't say I want to know FBA and say, but I want to know what a burrito is.
You understood what I meant?
Nah, slightly. But it didn't really answer my question. Why do you want to know into detail? Give me some detail to that, just so you know the name. I mean, we just said foundational Black American.
I just never.
Okay, well, there you go then. It's foundational Black American. That's FBA. So doesn't us saying that describe what FBA stands for? The F is for foundational, the B is for Black, and the A is for American. Doesn't that really describe it to you? So that's why I asked you, why do you want to know in detail?
I mean, I don't really know.
Well, then you need to get a dictionary. Then you need to get a dictionary and then read what foundational means, read what Black means, and read what American means. And they'll answer you better than I ever could,
So you just told me that it's a literal definition. I'm not against you or nothing. I'm just literally just trying to figure out what does it mean.
Well, I'm not saying that you are against it. I just want to know. I just want to know the detail. Once again, the detail on why you want to know. I just gave you.
Notice how I keep asking him to give me the detail to his question. Not just ask the question, why the hell do you want to know? And I want y'all to also notice about 100 times he says, I'm not trying to argue. And we regulate that as well.
Okay, I got you. Now, give me the detail on why you want to know. Like, you want to know why, so you can address us, so you can address your friends, you can address society, so you're just aware in life. Like, give me details. It's not that difficult of a question.
Right? And shit. Like, I come in here, I don't know everything, so I like to learn.
Okay, well, all right. Now, if you notice, by me telling you that, I answered your question. Foundational Black American. That means foundational Black and American. Same way the USA means United States of America, foundational Black America means foundational Black and American. So it answered that. Now, go ahead and proceed with the second question, since we answered that one for you.
Yeah, so the second question was, like, who, so you guys want reparations, but, like, how is this going to work? Like, I'm all for it, but, like, how is it going to work?
The same way reparations has worked for any other person who's received reparations. You're aware that other groups have received reparations, correct?
Yeah. However, I found that, Japanese got theirs because they had a state, So they were able to.
Because the Japanese have a state. There's no state called Japan in America.
I know, but they were able to allocate the money in a place and then distribute it likewise. So.
Okay, that can happen to us.
Absolutely.
There's an answer. Yeah, there you go. Then you answered your own question. Okay. You're doing good today, man. I'm gonna have to send you a goddamn bottle of champagne, homie.
I only take the best.
All right, then you got to take the best teachers, man, and you're listening to them. So yes, you already answered it.
I'm listening. I'm not coming in here to stir up some shit. I'm not trying.
I got you. You said that 39 times. I got you. We don't need a 40th time. Okay, so the Japanese got their reparations. Native Americans have got their reparations. Are you aware of both of those?
Yeah.
Then why don't you apply the same logic to us?
Well,
why are you coming at us with a different manuscript?
Everything can't be.
We're different.
Can't be the same.
It's not about. Yes, we are very different. We're very different in terms of genetics, lineage, heritage, and culture, but the laws are not different. The laws have been allocated the same way in every which way. When someone gets caught of robbery, they don't say, well, you're different, so I'm going to give you a different sentence or a different indictment. No, it's the laws. The laws are the laws. The laws are on the book. Everybody is subjected to the laws. This is the United States of America, correct?
I guess I'm just not familiar with those laws.
Wait a minute. This is the United States of America, correct?
This is the United States.
Okay, then why are you trying to apply a different law for us?
I'm not trying to apply a different law.
I got to ask you, do you view us differently? You said, wait a minute, you said we're different.
No,
do you view us different?
There's a difference between the United States and the United States of America.
No, just a minute ago, you said y'all are different.
I didn't say y'all.
I want to know what you mean by that. Yes, you did.
I said every situation.
Okay. No, you didn't. You said, no, you didn't. You said, but y'all are different. You said, but y'all different. It's recording. You can listen to the playback. We got 100 plus people in this room.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying.
Hey, brother, I told you I don't need the 40 if we're not trying to argue. I got that. No one's arguing. I'm teaching. So listen, what I'm telling you is you did say, but y'all are different. And I'm asking you, I'm asking you questions as well. See, I'm not under indictment. I'm not under your jurisdiction. So I'm asking you a question. My question is to you. You said we are different. So you're trying to apply different laws to us that did not pertain to the Native Americans or the Japanese. And I'm asking you, why are you taking the laws of the United States of America judicial system and applying different ones to us opposed to the other groups? That's what I'm asking you. It's a simple question, Matthew.
Well, I'm guessing because, the reparations for the Jews, the natives, and, the fucking Japanese, I guess it probably went about a different way. That's just, I'm not.
Whoa.
All right, now we're going to roast him in a minute, but I want everybody to notice exactly what my brother Afro Elite said that guy did. He came in asking questions, and when it got flipped on him, where the questions were asked to him, and I wouldn't let him off the hook. I wouldn't let him. He kept saying, I'm not going to argue everything to try to run interference. I would not let him off the hook. I said, I have questions for you. Why do you want to know? And I want to know in details and give it to me. And he couldn't even answer it. He couldn't answer it at all. And I said specifically, why are you applying different laws to us? There are laws that are different for us. They're called the in-laws. And I don't mean your relatives. Y'all know what they are. You got one that's formal and one that's informal, one that's on paper and one that's in all of their brains. And that's the laws he was really referring to, but he wouldn't want to mention that because he would have known he would have got his ass regulated. But notice how when you flip it on them and you start indicting their ass, they don't know what to do and they start rumbling. We're going to start regulating him here in a minute. We're going to start laughing at him and run him off, and I'm going to play that for everybody. But I want y'all to notice how when you put the pressure on them, they don't know what to do because they only have the expertise of trolling. Outside of trolling, they have no power at all. I want to ask Sage and then Brother Afro. Did y'all notice how he was wiggling, wobbling, and stumbling all over the goddamn place?
Yes. First of all, you can do a whole broadcast specifically just on that 10-minute encounter. You knocked him back on his pivot when you started asking questions. When you ask questions, that's when, again, he went back on his pivot because he was not in control. You did exactly, again, what Neely Fuller teaches us. Go into question mode. And either they're going to come out and just straight say, hey, listen, y'all don't deserve no reparations. I don't give a damn. Or they're going to try to babble around the subject. Because, again, you gave him two examples, Jewish, Japanese, and he had no retort to that. So that's family. Again, use these as teaching tools or study guides, I would say. That when you encounter this in online or in person, go into question mode. Do not let them control the narrative because all they're trying to do is get their talking points across. If I may, do you guys, I don't know how far you guys go back. I remember when Tariq Nasheed was on Fox News and Laura Ingraham was talking to him about reparations. And she had certain talking points ready, but he never used the word reparations because she wanted him to use that specific word. He never used it. Now, he spoke all about it, but he never used the verbiage of reparations. And you can go look it up if you want, about him and Laura Ingraham. It got to the point where she couldn't get off her talking points so much that they just cut him off. It was like, oh, we lost him. Because if they can't control the narrative, they're dead in the water. And what you saw today from that space family was a textbook example of how to not let them control the narrative and to get our points across, which is actual facts.
What about you, Brother Afro?
Okay. I say this a lot. Okay, and I got this. I don't know if it was Neely Fuller Jr. who said this originally or if it was, I heard it from Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Okay. white people play dumb about racism and black people play dumb with them.
Correct.
All right. What you just heard was him go up there and start playing dumb because he says he's listening to the space. He's loving what he heard, but he doesn't know what a foundational Black American is, which is pretty self-explanatory. But he knows we want reparations. So he's listening. He knows what we want, but he just don't know what FBA is.
No.
He's coming in and he's playing dumb. Now, what Black Alpha did not do was play dumb with him. That was a very important thing that he didn't do. Because they'll play dumb like, oh my God, I love it so much, man. Just what is foundational Black American, dude? And then they'll ask to lower the guard, to lower your guard. And then too many Black people in the past, they would be all jubilant to have a white person that doesn't hate them in the same room. They'd be like, oh my God, yes, a foundational Black American is da. And when the guard is lowered, you see the next question. When you are, you know what it means. Move on to the next question. His next question was going to be like, well, yeah, oh my God, I love Black so much. But the reparations, explain to me how that's going to work. When they ask you to explain how reparations is going to work, what they're looking for is they're looking for you to slip up. They're asking you these questions not because they're curious, not because they're stupid, not because they don't know. They're asking you those questions is because they want to find a hole in your argument somewhere where you make a mistake. And then they be all like, you see, your whole argument doesn't make sense. You see that one little, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's illogical. Come on now, stop complaining. That's his whole intention in the first place. Be all like, yeah, the reparations, but I'm not against it. And he'll say that. They all say that. Oh, I'm not against it, but I just don't know how would it work? I don't know how it would work. And then Black Alpha, which is very important for you guys to know history. This is important because that you utilize history just like he did. Oh, well, what about the Native Americans and the Japanese? Well, that's different. How? And that's when he got messed up. When you say, okay, how's that different? Well, he didn't know what to say because he never predicted the conversation going there. He predicted he'd get up there and back. It was going to do the back and forth interview. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Afro, to cut you off, brother. Did you catch when he said about the reparations? Because I noticed that he said Native Americans. He said to you, Brother Black, that the Japanese had a home base or something. So where's the Native Americans' home base?
You're muted.
I'll be goddamn. That ain't never happened to me. I'll be making fun of people that shit happened to. I guess I gotta get myself out. He said they have a state, and I said there's no state called Japan in America.
So where's the Native American state? Where's the Native American state? That's for you, Afro, by the way. That question's for you.
Listen, and this is why it's important to know history, because when 9/11 happened, excuse me, I have a cough drop, so you know. That's why if y'all hear my voice is weird. When 9/11 happened, the families of the people who died in 9/11 were given money from the federal government. They were given reparations for 9/11. You guys can look that up if you guys didn't know. Okay. Now, 9/11, allegedly, it was not America's fault. There was nothing America do to stop 9/11, but they still paid the families reparations anyway. Yeah. Okay. They do that with families who have like their husbands or fathers who die in the army too. So you don't need a different base because where was the 9/11 base? Where was the 9/11 state? America has given, those are just two of the main examples to ethnic groups, but America has given reparations in many small increments throughout its history. Yep. So there is no difference except the fact that they don't want to give it to us. They refuse to. It's not like, oh, y'all got a different situation. No, you guys find a way to give reparations to all these other groups, even groups outside of America. We can talk about Ukraine. Even groups outside of America, you guys find a way to give it to them. But when it comes to us, it's a totally different scenario and a totally different situation.
Man, the reason why I love Neely Fuller so much, brother, and I know you guys study and follow Neely Fuller as well, he's so much of a master with words. He understands that words are so powerful with his compensatory code where, you know, the dominant society does all these word games and play on words with us. And man, they used to irritate me back in the old days. Black folks would fall for that all the goddamn time. It wouldn't even be good lies. They would just come up with the most whack, lame ass lies, and black folks would fall for it. And motherfuckers like you and I, you know, we'd be looking like, yo, he's lying to you. Like, y'all hear that? That's bullshit. Like, who the hell believes that? And they just play word salad, you know, and just go around all the time. And now what we're noticing is that not only have we come with new terms, and that's why the beauty of having new terms is so powerful, which Neely Fuller has talked about all the time. There's a lot of wordsmith in the community. Brother Tariq Nasheed, Torian Reigns, I see you. He's another wordsmith where we have combat words and combat phrases for anything that they throw at us. So later on in the space, I end up telling that guy, I said, you're going to have to download the Supremacist app and start coming up with some new shit because your old shit ain't working. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, when you get the new shit, we're going to run that off the block. So it doesn't really matter because we have verbiage now. And there has been an assault on our verbiage. That's why they're trying to get the term tether banned. A lot of times when I spell tether, I spell it a little off because eventually they're going to try to make tether like a flag word. We got to be very cautious with that because it's so powerful. So we have a lot of terms that we're putting out there now that is indicative of the power we have, but it's also pushback to everything they say. Now I'm going to play the rest, family, where we start to really roast this guy. And I'm going to make it quick because we're not going to sit here and break them down all the time. I want to get to a couple other items. But I'm going to play you to where now I pick up the temperature on him. As our brother Sage and Afro just put it. At first, we back him into a corner and we let him know them games ain't going to work. And now we come at him with the real truth and watch the way he starts to slither all over the goddamn place because we put it down the real way. Here we go.
Well, I mean, I was like...
No, you be quiet, Matthew. You said enough.
You don't want to hear me talk?
Thank
you.
Thank you, Matthew.
I mean, I have something else to say. I mean, I'm being respectful.
Be quiet, man.
All right, listen. Hey, here's the thing, Matthew. You say you're not trying to argue, but you are babbling.
I'm not.
You are babbling.
I don't babble.
Yeah, you are. And I challenge you to get through the rest of this conversation without saying what you're not trying to do. Because, by the way, this tactic of I'm not really trying to do what I just didn't do on Wednesday at 12 on Thursday, that shit don't work over here. You're going to have to be more precise, man. We done seen it all. Listen to me. Listen. You know what reparations is. You know how reparations are applied. You know who has received reparations. Then you take that same type of stuff and you apply it to us, and then there's your answer. And you know this, but you're being disingenuous.
I'm not letting him talk. He ain't going to talk over me. Not at all.
You've had a lot of questions and you've got a lot of answers, but if you were quiet and you listen to the answers, they might actually seep into your brain, okay? It takes time. I can tell with you, it takes more time than others, but that's okay. Right. That's all right. Yes, I'm sure you got a lot of time, and I got a lot of teaching to do. So listen, all you have to do is take the reparations claim that reparations has always been applied, and you apply it to foundational Black Americans. But we both know, you and I, we both know that you know that. So really what I want you to do, I want you to come out right now and just say that you are anti-Black and you're trying to run interference on our reparations. Can you just say that for everybody? All right, that don't mean nothing. So did the slave master. Nice try. Boy, I told you we know all the games, man. Come on now. Come on. Is it white? Is the woman a swirler?
A swirler.
Do y'all do slave rolls?
This woman's a tubber.
Yeah, they do slave. Y'all do slave rolls and stuff?
She's actually very beautiful.
Yeah, she probably is. She probably also comes with a
you guys always talk
she doesn't exist.
Females. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, well, here's what I do get. Is that woman that you're talking about?
You implying that Black slave women
I didn't say anything about
American women were not beautiful. Oh, you said
hey, Miriam.
You implied it.
Miriam, he knows she's talking about blow up, dog.
Black women slaves.
No, his baby mama's an African.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, she's a blow up dog. She's a blow up dog that he got from the Home Depot. That's what it really is.
That's where you get your blow up dogs?
We know that. That's what you got, homie. Yeah. Your mama probably will too. Yeah, I know you do.
Hey,
you do. Yeah, you do. Don't lie.
Reparations. I think this is all just peddling to get you guys to vote Democrat.
I think that you are an anti-Black supremacist who's running old 1980s anti-Black supremacist tactics that in the year 2023 are being completely broken apart, torn up at this space right here. And I think, honestly, you're starting to get frustrated, Matthew. You're getting mad, Matthew. You're getting upset. You thought that stuff was going to work. That won't work over here. You're dealing with a new breed. Hey, everybody, he thought he was talking to an African-American. That's who he thought he was talking to. He thought he was talking to the African American blow up doll that he got. No,
He said Democrats.
we talk back, family. So no, I think you got Matthew, that your old tactics aren't working, man. You're gonna have to go get some new ones. You're gonna have to polish them up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of spaces on Twitter, man. You can probably go slide in one of them other ones.
You don't know.
I do know you because once you see one supremacist, you done seen them all, brother. So you are an anti-supremacist.
Once you see one supremacist, you see them all, family. Once you see one, you done seen them all, and that's what I noticed. We flipped it on them, and then it turns into an FBA roast session. Our sister Miriam, salute to you. A couple other people, beat Zilla. We just started snapping on him, and then he got mad and frustrated. We snapped him for about 2 more minutes, and then we sent him on his way, and I dropped him, and I made fun of him on his way out because that's what we do. I'm not here to play games with you. I'm not here to do-si-do. We're not playing race patty cake. No, we just getting to it. So I seen every tactic that he tried to do. And first we laid him out intellectually, and then we laid him down with that FBA hammer, and they can't handle that by no means. So this is what we talk about. And I don't know if you guys caught it. Did you guys hear that he said he thinks reparations is all one big play to get us to vote Democrat? I don't know if y'all heard that in there.
Yes.
I heard he said something about Democrat. I couldn't catch it, but okay, yeah. Okay, all right. Okay.
See, that's not the first time I've seen that before. So you see he came in with an agenda already. When we talk about how they try to pivot us towards the Democratic Party, or they try to do it, they try to bring in their dominant society filth, and then they try to put it on us. But we didn't really go for that at all. I want to ask y'all a question. How long do y'all give it before y'all start roasting them? Because sometimes we'll do it like Tariq. Y'all know Tariq. He'll lay him out and embarrass them, and then Tariq will just get him. You know what I'm saying? How much time do y'all give him? Because I try to not give this guy too much time in terms of breaking him down. But how much time do y'all give him before y'all start really just giving him that work? Either one of y'all can take that.
Well, I'm gonna say, if it's somebody who's like of status or of somebody notable, like if it was like Ben Shapiro, or if it was somebody like, what's the other name? What's the other? Oh, I can't. The other
Milo?
guy, huh?
Milo?
No, not
Richard Spencer?
Milo's one of them. Richard Spencer, exactly. If it was somebody of his notability, then you would drag that out a little bit longer to really dissect what they have to say, because he has that notability. Now, if it's this Matthew, you know what I'm saying, you don't spend too much time on the little Matthews, the little trailer park trash Matthews of the world. You kind of get to the point, you've been exposed, okay, you know what I'm saying. So it varies between those situations.
That's the Turning Points USA talking point, by the way. If you guys don't know what Turning Points USA is, good. If you do know what it is, they use the talking point of reparations. You're only bringing up reparations so that you can vote for the Democrats. Nowhere, I believe, the word Democrat even came up on the space. And the space was like, what, 4 hours maybe? And I don't think the word Democrat came up one time. So I don't know where they get this whole we're going to vote for the Democrats at, but that's a low level, like my brother Afro said, that's a low level white supremacist. We don't want to really waste time with him. You want to get it out within the first 90 seconds. You ask about 3 to 4 questions, and you know where his head is at. He's here to troll, and that's all he's ever going to do. You know, like you're not going to get no emotional things out of him. No, you don't take those people seriously, because you get no points for annihilating him. You understand? Like you get no points for that. You know, you get, content, but you're not really getting points for taking someone like that down. That's a low level. Like my brother said, I want the Richard Spencers. I want the Ben Shapiros. I want the Milos of the damn world. I want that Nick Fuentes dude. I want them. I don't want the low level people no, that doesn't make sense.
Man, this right here is foundational Black American excellence right here, man. There's so much knowledge being said between us three, man, breaking it down. People in the chat, certified, salute. This is game right here, man. We're really doing something that the previous generations did not do. They didn't really equip us on how to handle it. I always tell people, we've been kind of learning on the go. You feel me? But we've been learning fast. You know what I'm saying? We've been making things happen. We've been taking what we learned and we've been processing it very quickly, and then we've been getting it done. And that's what I love about all my brothers and sisters, man, because I remember a time where Black folks had that deer in headlights. Like they didn't know how to handle none of this. And it really wasn't that long ago. Shit. The yes we can era. I always say this ain't the yes we can era, man. It's the hell to the no era. We different. We hit very, very different. And one of the things that we have broke down, and by the way, that was Trailer Park Matt, and he's probably with that blow up doll tonight, man. So, you know, life is really bad for him, but it's very great for us. So since we done threw that to the side, it's funny, we threw Trailer Park trash in the trash, man. We on one, A1. I want to talk about something that we were never prepared for and the older community never really told us, is that so much hatred for foundational Black Americans across the diaspora. And you're going to have a lot of people who hate foundational Black Americans, and they're going to come with a lot of different sneaky ways of doing it, because we were all kind of taught that everybody loves us. We're all friends. Those are our brothers. You know, drop what we're doing over here and go help them. A lot of reasons why we never had reparations and we never had simple hate crime laws that protect us is because we was fighting for goddamn apartheid. We was fighting over there to help people in South Africa. We was helping to get Nelson Mandela. Can y'all imagine if we took all of the things that we did for Nelson Mandela all across Africa trying to stop apartheid? Can y'all imagine if we just stopped and focused like right here at home? We'd have so many things by now, but the older generation didn't really show us that. There's a term, it's an ideology, or it's kind of like a Disneyland because it doesn't really exist, and it's called Pan-Africanism, okay? And Pan-Africanism was sold to a lot of people, and a lot of folks started off as Pan-Africans, and then they kind of just left it because they realized it. I mean, I don't know if you can leave something that never really existed, but I guess a lot of folks left it alone, and there's really only like one or two Pan-Africans in the world today. One of them is Dr. Kubar Vasquez. He's still out there running around these streets, you know, talking Pan-Africanism. And that goddamn FBA jet done flew, and he's still just sitting there on the corner and is passing him by because this is a lineage-based era, and he's still talking about Pan-Africanism like it's 1985. It's real old to the party. So I came across something last week, man, and Dr. Kubar doesn't get too much press nowadays. A lot of people don't really talk about him no more. His school hasn't happened, and he's still running around yelling at people and kind of talking down. He went on a whole anti-FBA reparations tour, which we're all aware of. There's a video that came out, and I'm going to play it for everybody. And it's, boy, we're about to go there. Dr. Kubar, lock in. Dr. Kubar Vasquez he's talking about House Bill 1020 out there in, I want to say Mississippi. But here's the kicker, y'all. There's like 4 or 5 people out there. He ain't even got enough people to fill up a goddamn gymnasium. And I want to ask y'all, is he starting to sound very, very Al Sharpton-ish? Listen to his inflection. Listen to the way he's talking. I'm going to play it for y'all.
If somebody would have stole some money from Fannie Lou Hamer, if somebody would have somehow disenfranchised Hiram Rebels, do they quit? Brothers and sisters, I'm so...
Real quick, what does those African flags have to do with America? House Bill 1020, I believe, is in Mississippi. There's no American flags flying there. And if y'all notice, can y'all count? There's like 27 people. Who's he talking to? They're behind. I think the people he's sitting there, I think the people came with him. I don't know who the hell he's talking to. Anyway, I'll proceed.
So sick and tired of black men making excuses not to fight for black people. And if you ain't got courage to stand up for ours, don't call yourself a man. Don't call yourself a man. Brothers and sisters, as I prepare to wrap this up, I'm going to watch and follow the situation in Jackson. And I commit myself to coming back as many times as I have to do whatever I can do to help y'all overturn this, because you can. If it's one thing history has taught black people, there is nothing the white man can do to you that you cannot turn upside down if you're willing to pay the cost of freedom. Brothers and sisters, the hour is late in our struggle. We have sat by too comfortable for too long. But I'm here with a message from my ancestors that says, black man, black woman, stand up and fight. Don't quit. We're better than this. We are better than this. We ain't gonna live on our knees no more. We got to get up and fight. Even if you're the only one fighting, you do it. And to my parents, please stop with the special education. Stop letting them, helping them create a permanent underclass of black children under this so-called reading disability. Brothers and sisters, I'm a school psychologist by profession. Testing for special ed is what I do. And I need you to understand special education is a trap and a trap. It is the fast forward button for the school to prison pipeline.
All right, enough. Man, Any one of y'all want to take that, man? It's all good. I had to stop. I was laughing, man. I didn't want to mess the stream up, bro. That motherfucker, hey, he done turned into goddamn Dr. Umar Jesse Jackson in this motherfucker. Go ahead, man. Y'all take that one.
This is clear pandering. I don't like the fact that, I peeped that little jab, black men, if you're not going to stand up for black women. All right, that's pandering, brother. Okay, listen. I think that whole Pan-African thing has ran its course. The only Pan-Africanism starts in Maine and it ends in California, okay? That's your Pan-Africanism right there. Between that is your Pan-Africanism. As far as, I think Dr. Umar, I'm going to be honest with you, the opening of the museum that my brother attended really hurt Umar because Tariq did that within a calendar year, or maybe a little bit over a calendar year. He did that and opened it. And that was really bad for, Mr. Vasquez. That was really bad for him. And so he's going on this photo op. I think that's a photo op. I don't even know what that whole thing was about because he was talking about women and then he talked about him being a school psychologist and he was all over the goddamn board. So I don't know what exactly it was about. But I think it's like a photo op, maybe something that he can use for like promotion to get people to donate to the school. Look, I'm out here. And that's why the people were in front of the camera and no one was behind, because you want to show that people are actually with you. And, I know it sounds like, we're dumping on Umar, but he's really dumping on himself, man. I mean, you did this to yourself, bro. He's really been on some, we know that you're part Cuban. You've admitted to that. So he's been on some like anti-FBA crusade. And we're just trying to say, you can go back to Havana and we're going to go and do our thing, and get our reparations over here. So, the whole photo op, I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't really take what dude has to say too serious nowadays because that whole Pan-African shit is played out. Where was Dr. Umar to say, when people are speaking negative about foundationals? Have you ever heard him speak out and say anything about that? So I would question Dr. Umar on that. No one checks these other people that's from Lord knows, they always look at us to be the fucking the gold standard, and no one checks these others. So I don't like that. I've never heard Dr. Umar check them, but he'll say something negative about Tariq or about Jason or whomever. You understand? Like I don't. I put him in the same box. Sorry to say, I put him in the same box that I put that Tone Tits and Lockjaw. I put them in the same box. In all honesty.
Mm. Well, here's the thing. Remember years ago when black people who were conscious or woke, if I can use that term. Are we taking that term back now? Since they don't know what it means, are we taking it back? And then let me not go there. But black people who were what they call pro-black, we were being made fun of. It would be like skits of the super pro, yes, my brother, my sister, and all that stuff, and they would make fun of the pro-black people. And they would say how exaggerated and unrealistic we are. What we all need to do, my brother, my melanated brother from the sun, we need to go back to the motherland and regroup with the soil and the earth. And they're like, that's you kind of, it's a level of consciousness. And then when somebody like it's a dark void of like plebiscite in that unfortunately people fall into. You know what I'm saying? And follow me, y'all. Dr. Umar has unfortunately, and it's unfortunate because he has taught a lot and he does break things down as far as the system of white supremacy goes. He breaks it down. But the thing is that his character and the way he represents himself has turned him into like a meme to a degree. So now almost everything you hear Dr. Umar say, it's all like, oh, here he goes. Because he all being super and overly animated and dramatic. How dare you? Hey, chill all that down. Man, you don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking, even when we get passionate, you don't see us. You don't see us doing that, okay? Because that's when people stop taking you serious. And Umar, unfortunately, has done that to himself. He used to be taken seriously, but now his character is, oh, he's going to be that sniffing and then yelling, and he's turned his whole brand really into a meme. And that's really unfortunate. And then he does things like our brother Sage says, like almost like a photo op. Now he's sitting up there. He's supposed to be, I guess, talking about a bill. I ain't heard nothing about a bill since the whole video was playing. I ain't heard nothing about a bill. You couldn't tell what state he was by listening to him because he didn't bring it up. You know, he's talking about a bill. You seem like you make people take you less serious. You're talking about, oh, and another thing about these schools. Yeah, and another thing. We need to start eating healthy. And another thing, like, yeah, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, your message is all over the place. You're yelling, you're screaming. People don't take that serious. And that's why Pan-Africanism, it's gone. It's gone now. The cow has been milked completely dry. The cow is dead. The cow is dead and has turned into hamburger, and the hamburgers are gone. Okay? It's over with. I think you muted, Black Alpha.
I'm sorry, because I'm over here laughing, so I had to mute myself and shit. But I said, God damn, man. Afro said the whole goddamn 9 is gone. Every fucking thing. Oh, I got a little breaking news, y'all. Dr. Kubar has been spotted somewhere in Havana. Y'all see that now, man? He's in Havana right now. He's out there hanging out with them Cubans out there, you know what I'm saying? So that's where he is. He went home, y'all. He went home, family. So we got to go ahead and make sure Dr. Umar knows that. Hold on. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I just got another breaking one that he done went full goddamn communist, y'all. Dr. Kubar is out there waving the goddamn flag. I mean, it's sad, boy. Fall from grace, family. Fall from, what'd you say, Afro? You said the cow's gone. The
the cow's been milk dry and it's dead. There's no milk, no cow, no nothing.
You know, it's so funny, man, because I went around Umar for mad long. Like, I met Dr. Umar. People know that. I met Dr. Umar before. I met him in like 2016. I met him a few years ago. Matter of fact, I think I met Dr. Umar the day or so before my hero, Muhammad Ali, passed away. I met Dr. Umar.
Wow.
And I liked him. Like, he was cool when I met him. Y'all remember back then, he was just about supremacy. Supremacy. All that wild Pan-African shit didn't really get in the way because he was just, talking about supremacy. And then when we got Lineage specific, you started seeing him kind of go that way. And then when our brother Tariq started really getting Lineage specific, we started blowing up in terms of foundational Black Americans, the Hidden Color series. I know they had they falling out and they 2 men, so, it could have been a simple thing, but I feel jealousy from Umar. I feel like he got very jealous and stuff like that. I see that he always preached about the Negro ego, and he's one of the most egotistical people I've ever seen. He's really on an anti-foundational Black American tour. He's on an anti-FBA tour. I mean, literally, like y'all were just saying in this speech, he's sitting there supposed to be talking about a bill, but he first came out talking about Black men. Now, he don't talk about the Black men over there in Africa getting whooped by, 5'2" people with bamboo sticks. He don't talk about that. He doesn't talk about the Commonwealth. He doesn't talk about any of that. He only talks about us here in the United States of America. So you see that he is completely consumed with FBA hate. And he says a lot of things that are really fraudulent. They're false and just really destructive to the movement. So I see people have really passed him by and the movement's passing by. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years, well, more than a few years, I say 10, 15 years, he's going to be a gray-haired, older guy, still yelling, still screaming, still talking about a Pan-African world that never came. It never came. He's like the person who's waiting for that goddamn phone call from the female or the guy that they want to talk to, and the fucking phone is a Friday night, but the call never fucking comes in, and he's just waiting by the goddamn phone. That's what it is. The movement is not checking for Dr. Kubar Vasquez. He's just gone, and we've showed him respect, and I don't really see smoke coming from our side. I see it more coming from his side based upon a lot of his hatred or his jealousy or whatever the hell it is. I want to ask you though, Brother Sage, because I know you in NYC, and then I'll ask you, Brother Afro, the Pan-African stuff where, you got all these Pan-Africans and stuff. I know at our Juneteenth parade, you had people out there waving the RBG flag and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. How do y'all feel about Pan-Africanism? Because we talk about it now. How do y'all feel about Pan-Africanism in the next 2 to 3 years? Because me personally, like Black Alpha, I feel that Pan-Africanism, and I've seen it within the last 5 years, going back 5 years, I've seen it decrease. I think in the next 5 years going forward, it's going to decrease even more. What do y'all believe is the future of the Pan-African Disneyland world? Because I'm seeing now you're starting to have Pan-African on Pan-Africanism crime. They going at it. There was a video that came out a couple months ago where some guy, he's a Pan-African, he's arguing with a guy, he's calling him tether. So you got Pan-Africans calling other Pan-Africans tethers. It's a crazy game, y'all. What do y'all see in the next, I'll say 3 years in terms of Pan-Africanism, in terms of our FBA lineage movement going forward and theirs going backwards? I ask you, Sage, and then you, my brother, Afro.
Well, to put it on record, I am not a Pan-Africanist. Will I sit back and watch another Black man be taken advantage of that's not in my lineage? No, but that does not make me a Pan-Africanist. I think that when Pan-Africanism was started by Marcus Garvey, like in the 20s and all that, even in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we were on the, hey, these people are our brothers. And we thought that when they come here, they're going to embrace us as that. The grandchildren of the 60s, which are us, we know that's not the case. Pan-Africanism has decreased, I believe, ever since the 60s. And I don't see it lasting much longer. I think that Pan-Africanism in itself is on its last leg. I mean, as far as Umar wanted to be, I'm the king. I'm the one that gave out all the knowledge on Pan-Africanism. That's where it started with the whole, Tariq situation. I gave you all this knowledge. I did this. I did that. Like, bro, you really wanted to be David Ruffin. And I'm not old enough because I never, people in the chat, what the fuck you know about David Ruffin? My mom, all right? My father, all right? That's not my generation. But the analogy of David Ruffin wanted to be, y'all know who David Ruffin is. He wanted to be the man in the Temptations. I'm David Ruffin. These are the Temptations. That's how Umar wanted to be known as. He wanted to be known as the one. And it just didn't happen like that. People started to become more lineage based because when you're talking about reparations, that's something that's specific lineage based. You can't do that on a race tip. You just can't. That's illegal. So he knew, I believe that day, he knew in his heart that he would be X'd out. He would be, not eligible. He knew that. We didn't know that at the time, but he knew that. So that's where all the hate, I believe came from. As far as, I live in New York. I mean, most of that Pan-African stuff is relegated to Harlem and 125th Street. They scream from bullhorns over there, and that's where it stops. That Pan-African shit doesn't leave that specific block face in Harlem. That's it. There is no true Pan-Africanism in New York. There is none. We have a small population of Nigerians that live in Queens in a certain section, and they live amongst themselves. They don't call themselves Africans. They call themselves Nigerians. So they're not really trying to, be mixed in with us. They want to be their own selves, and I'm pretty sure it's worse in Chicago.
Well, this is why I say Black first. I say B1 because that is the ideology that we should go by that has no flaws. And I explained this in a debate I did. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But why B1 is superior to Pan-Africanism is because it centers us around Blackness, okay? And we all unify around Blackness. Pan-Africanism unifies us around Africa. And they act as if Africa is like this paradise or goddess place, this defined place, and the people are from there. They're the leaders of Pan-Africanism. Okay, this is why Pan-Africanism isn't working, because everybody is not from Africa. That's why it's not going to work, because we are not from Africa. They don't recognize us as being from Africa. We don't recognize ourselves, or we're starting not to recognize ourselves from being from Africa. Now, we're Black, but that doesn't mean we're from Africa. The same way Jamaicans and Haitians are black, but they don't say they're from Africa. You know, so when you see Pan-Africanism, it all centers around the fact that Africa is this holy place, and it's almost like a religion where you should worship Africa. It is Pan-Africanism, not, and I'm not talking about all the way back in like the 50s and stuff, but it has devolved into this like religion of Africa being God, which is why it fell off, because that's not going to work in the movement of Black empowerment. Now we can, like, there's B1 brothers and sisters out there that, you know, we got Kid Gravity and he's doing his thing. We got B1 brothers and sisters who are not from the lineage, and we can all work with our blackness. We can all team up on the fact that we're all black, and we can work together on that. But we can't team up on the fact that we're all African, because as I stated earlier in this very broadcast, we're not all African. So we can't unify around being from one place that we're not all from. You know what I'm saying? So it's fundamentally speaking, it won't work. Even from its inception, it was doomed to fail from its inception. They didn't see that, but it was doomed to fail from the inception because they didn't realize at the time that we're new people. We're not from Africa. And when you have that understanding, you will understand the ideology that's based off of us all being from Africa can't work. Now, Pan-Africanism, they're upset and they want us to go back to that because they feel as if they are treated like some form of royalty by Black people. And to be honest, we used to look at Africa and Africans as almost royalty. Yeah. And they want us to go back to that. They want us to be able to be that they can say shit to us, but we can't say nothing to them. They're not used to the hit back. They're not used to the clapbacks that we're giving them now. So that's why they want us to go back to the religion that was Pan-Africanism. And ultimately, it was always doomed to fail. It's failed, it's gone, it's dead, it's not coming back, and it's just over with. Now we can unify, like I said again, we can all unify under our blackness as B1, but Pan-Africanism was always going to fail.
My thing is, when do you stop being African? I'm pretty sure all three of us up here can trace our lineage back past the 1860 census. When do you stop being African? Because if you don't know, if you've been in America for 7, 8, 10 generations, when do you stop being African? This is something that, you know, a lot of people have asked. I mean, I would say this. I mean, an Italian American, most of them can trace their lineage back 1, 2 generations to Italy. We can't do that. We have no connection there. And the people, honestly, the countries that we probably came from, because I'm not one of them people that deny, yes, there were some people that came from Africa. The countries that we probably came from no longer exist. My thing is like this. Nigeria was created maybe 100 years ago, I believe. Maybe. We've been in America longer than the country of Nigeria has existed. I believe Lady Lagarde named Nigeria. So a white woman named that. We've been in America, again, I repeat, before that was even called Nigeria. Before a lot of these countries were called what they're called today, we've been in America. So when do you stop being African? Because that label just seems to be put on us. They don't put that on the Brazilians. I don't see no one going to them saying, hey, you're Brazilian African or African Brazilian. Like, no one says that. We're the only ones that accept that because, again, we make so much noise in America, and we set the trends for the world, and the world follows us. I mean, if you see a person, you know, wearing their jeans a certain way, that dude that you was talking to, he had his hat a certain way, bro, that's us. That's how we do. So you're following our culture. You're following the way we move. When do you stop being African?
Man, brother, it's like they be wanting centuries upon centuries of us to go away. While, like you said, brother, they just got here yesterday. Tariq made a great point, man. Great point. I want to touch on Burna Boy in a minute. We're going to get to Burna. The fact that he got Boy in his name. Hey, Afro, what happens if you call an FBA black man boy?
Well, when you wake up, you might regret it. That's what I'm gonna say. When you wake up, if you do, you might regret it. That's it.
You know what's funny about that, brother? There's like I think a half black, half white dude online that does that. He goes around.
I seen him. He said, "Give me that boy."
Yeah, he be like in a supermarket or something, and you can always tell when he walks up on the FBA, brother, because soon as he says "boy," a click, that switch goes off, and we like, "What you say?" It's fighting time, And then it was one time, unfortunately, he walked up on a Caribbean brother, and he said "boy," and the brother then gave him the shit. The brother said, "Which one you want? You want this one right here? Here you go." Like, really, really?
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you that. I'm
say yes, massa.
Yeah, literally, he said everything but that. And oh my god.
Oh no, brother! Did y'all see when he did that to Lil Boosie?
Nah, I didn't see what he did.
I think I did see that clip. That's when Lil Boosie was about to step to him.
Woo, Boosie! His eyes went. You could tell Boosie. He hit that switch. I think one of Lil Boosie's little partners took off on nobody and hit him, but then the clip stopped. Yeah, you ain't calling us boy. Oh no, Burna Boy running right here.
That ancestor comes back like what you just called me. Like we know we all come from the same, the same foundation. We all come from that.
It's that FBA energy, man. Like we always talk about it. It pops off. And to Tariq's point, Tariq said when Burna Boy says those things and other people that we don't have a culture, like Tariq said, they're trying to make us like we're some lost immigrant group. That's what we've dispelled in this era. Is that, dude, we ain't no little lost immigrant group. We don't know who we are. I promise you, fam. I know that people think this, but it almost be like these motherfuckers be on payroll, bro. It's like every week somebody comes out and says how we don't have a culture, we don't have a community, we don't have this, but yet motherfuckers be saying that while they got their hat tilted to the side, they got their pen. Sage, I'm telling you, bro, I done been all over the world, fam. I seen motherfuckers way on the other side of the earth saying they was from Brooklyn, and them niggas weren't from Brooklyn. They was not, brother. I seen motherfuckers way on the other side of the planet. I'm from Brooklyn, son. I'm from Word Up. All types of shit. They look like motherfuckers from Brooklyn back in 1980. And they were doing this in the 2000s, bro. Brooklyn is the most. Chicago, too. Hey, drill music, fam. They over there doing drill music in fucking Manchester and Liverpool.
They do that in London. Yes, they do that in London now. That's ridiculous. I mean,
bro, it sounds like polite gangster shit. Yeah. I don't know whether I want to go goddamn ride on somebody or go get some tea and crumpets. It's the most non-intimidating shit I ever heard in my life. They been that motherfucker talking about some goddamn, I got the Glock in the shots on the ass. I'm like, man, you better get that shit the fuck out of here. It's whack. So it shows you who's biting who. How y'all feel about what Burna Boy was saying the other day, family, and this whole Afrobeats thing that they got coming out now? We seen that the NBA All-Star Weekend had Afrobeats, and that was actually the lowest NBA All-Star Week ratings in modern.
I heard.
Yeah, it was trash, family. How y'all feel about Burna Boy, and all these other Afrobeats people that I believe they're trying to push over R&B music? Matter of fact, the same way that they take these foreign actors and actresses and they try to elevate them above our foundational Black American actors and actresses in the movie world, I think they're trying to do the same exact thing with Afrobeats over our R&B. How do y'all feel about what Burna Boy was saying? How he was basically trying to make us look like we just some lost immigrants who don't know what the hell we doing. Y'all can take that.
Afro.
Well, like I said, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, I'm going back there. When it comes to Pan-Africanism, they have this thing where they feel as if Africa is divine, and the people from there are divine, and they are royalty in comparison to us. So they feel as if they are like almost superior because we've too often for too many years have stopped recently, but for too many years they've allowed us to do that. So when they come over, they feel like we need to show you who you are. You don't know, but we know, and be almost as in a very condescending way, and they do it just automatically. It's embedded in them. Listen, I'm gonna say something that you guys probably never thought about. The word Akata means lost cat or lost animal. They call Black Americans Akata because they are referring to the fact that we were taken from Africa. Some of us were taken from Africa, and now we don't know where we're from. We're in this land, and we don't know where we're from. That's what the word means. Now, it's used derogatory, it's used as a slur, but that's the definition of the word. It means someone who doesn't know where they're from, someone who's an animal, who is not a person, but an animal who is lost, an animal who has no home. That is what the word Akata means. So I want you guys to notice that Burna Boy is calling us Akata without saying the word Akata. Anytime they say you guys don't have a culture, anytime they say you guys don't know where you're from, anytime they say, oh, your home is back in, anytime they say anything about like around that, close to that, resembling that, that is referring to us as FBA, as Akatas. So peep the game when just because he says it, and he might say it in a very friendly way. Oh, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love these little Akatas. That's what he's saying without saying that.
Bro, I never thought about it like that. I ain't never even think about it like that. It's a backdoor way of saying Akata, basically.
Yes.
Trash. I'm gonna play a clip real quick, family, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We can see obviously that the FBA hate is strong, but the only thing bigger than their hate is our excellence. So we just been like smashing them left and right. I'm gonna play a clip. Y'all seen this clip, but I want to play it for everybody who's watching. This is what's going on out here in these streets, man, with these people hating on foundational Black Americans. Y'all seen this person running their mouth about us, saying the same old talking points.
From London, right? All right, so let me ask you a question. Who's Americans? Really?
Black people don't even know what country they come from. I said black people down there don't even know what country they come from.
So what country you come from?
Me, a few. I'm African and Caribbean.
Where were you born?
Here.
So if your kids are born here, where are they from?
No.
Huh?
From London, but ethnic.
Hold on. Ethnically don't matter. After four.
It does. That's what we mean. Americans, they're born there.
But that isn't that ignorant to say it?
No.
Hold on. Hold on. You're white, girl. Calm down.
No,
You still white. It's all right. Calm down.
Hold on. That's what I'm trying to.
So you think that was a choice?
Well, if they decided to ask their mum where they're from.
My mom was born in America.
Well, she should at least know.
My grandmother was born in America.
She should at least know.
How? Slavery was a crazy thing. Do you think that was a choice?
Of course not.
How can you say that? Like, seriously, how can you say that though? Like,
yeah, but we know, like, these countries we're from, at least in America, they don't know anything. They just say they're from like California or somewhere.
But hold on, after 5 or 6 generations and building up America, don't you think we own America? That's our home.
Well,
would there be America if there weren't black people there?
I don't think that matters.
It does matter, because without black people in America, there's no America.
I don't know.
It's true.
Okay, but like, commonly, all Americans are just dumber.
How?
If I show you a flag right now, you won't be able to tell me what that is.
Who cares what flag it is? Fine, you're dumber. You're dumber. How many holes does a straw have?
2. 1.
Enough said. Huh? They're dumber.
Now, that's what Colin G said. He got her, man.
Love it.
Man, y'all notice how that is a chick from England, and we was just talking about Dr. Kubar from Cuba, really. But what is for the sake of this conversation, we'll say that he's really from Philly. Okay. You got a chick from England. You got Dr. Kubar from Philadelphia, allegedly, maybe, could be. And then you have the diaspora and the folks who we encounter all the time. None of these people even deal with each other. Half of them don't even know each other. But what's the one common denominator all of them have? It's that same FBA don't have a culture. How in the hell can people who don't even rock with each other, don't even speak the same language, don't even practice the same religion, but the one thing y'all can all communicate on is FBA hate. So when we say FBA hate is strong, apparently it flies over county lines, state lines, and continent lines, and they all seem to agree. Y'all can comment on that, brother.
I think the brother did well. I think, again, like I asked earlier, when do you stop being African? Because my grandmother's grandmother was born in America. Again, I can trace my family back to 1755 to be exact. We know what plantations they come from. You understand? So like, come on, like this is not something that, again, okay. So tell me this: before Nigeria was called Nigeria, right? I would ask a lot of Nigerians, what was it called? And I'm not going to answer this on. I'll answer this off the air, brother. But before Nigeria was called Nigeria, what was it called? Because you refer to yourself, obviously not you guys, but they refer to themselves, and I'm just beating up on Nigeria. You refer to yourselves as Nigerians. So my thing is, again, at least we go back at least 200 years. You can't go back anywhere. See, they look at America as if it's only supposed to be white people. You're black, so you're not really American. That's what she was trying to get across. Black people don't know where they're from. We're from America. Well, I mean, they say stuff like, California. If that's where they're from, that's where they're from. You understand? Like that person's grandma might have been born in 1899 in California. And then her mother might have been born in, 1869 in Louisiana, whatever the case is. You understand? Like, you can't go back that far with your family. But you look at us, because I think Brother Flex or Tariq spoke about this. A lot of their past isn't documented. Before the country was called Nigeria, a lot of their stuff is not documented. So they don't know it. They can't go back as much as I can go back, or Black can go back, or Afro can go back. They can't go back that far. So before you start judging people here in America, the country that we built, because when you build up something, you own that. You had Brother Kaba on here the other day speaking about creating something. Just because you add on to something doesn't mean you created it. You understand? But we built this. We didn't add on to anything. There wasn't a country before we got here. This was not known as the United States of America before we were, or before, the slave, I would say before chattel slavery. This was not called the United States of America. It was not. So
say you box. You box. I ain't trying to put your business on the street.
Oh yeah, I think I'm in the box. I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't.
I know you be boxing, family.
Yeah, that's okay.
You know that a lot of those Caribbean boxers, some of them African boxers, people do not know their age when they come over here and they fight. They'll be over here fighting and they'll be 45 fucking years old, but it won't really be documented because they don't actually have documented lineage or documented heritage. There's a boxer named Rigondeaux. He's from Cuba. We're in the diaspora, and this dude, everybody thought he was like 28. Come to find out, this motherfucker was 38. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no documentation for it.
Wow.
So how are you dealing with actually documenting these places? You're talking about third world countries where they don't even have food.
Thank you.
How the hell you ain't got food, but you got a goddamn matter of fact, let me tell a story. Somebody I know that went over to Africa. Somebody close to me went over to Africa. They said literally the hospital will be here, and the hospital don't keep records. The hospital will be here, and 10 miles away will be like the documentation place.
Yeah.
So in order to document the child, you would have to have that baby, take paper, walk that motherfucker all the way 10 miles, not drive, walk that motherfucker 10 miles to the documentation place and sign it. A lot of motherfuckers just say they ain't gonna do it. So they get tired, they don't want to go, it's raining or whatever the hell, they don't do it. So they said literally 70% of those children that were born in these orphanages and all these hospitals never had any documentation. Now, you just said you trace your people back to the 1700s.
Yes, 1755 to be exact.
Sounds
I know
like
the station they were sold down to.
Sound like they can't trace their people back to 17 minutes ago.
They can't trace their people back to 1901.
Wow.
You understand? So again, the country of Nigeria, I mean, you could look this up. I think it was like early 19. When Afro's speaking, I'll look it up. But my thing is like this. Well, first of all, shout out to John Jones, the greatest UFC fighter of all time. That Nigerian fighter, he just keeps on losing. He had a lot of shit to say about our brother John Jones, but he keeps on losing his fights when John is winning. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We already know we have the best boxers, whatever. And whoever you might want to feel about my brother Floyd Mayweather, he's amazing, one of the greatest.
TBE.
But listen, you can't touch him. But as far as there's countries, third world countries, that you can have a child and you can have a child, Black Alpha, and I can claim it as mine. I can go sign the paper and I can be the father to that child. That's how some people get up here to America. Americans will claim the child. Let's say if I have a child, right? Afro's my brother, Afro's American, and I'm whatever, another country, whatever. Afro can have I can have a child, and I can have Afro claim it as if it's his. He can now bring my son up to America. It works like that, family. I mean, that's the game. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the real deal game. And my thing is, she's saying, "Oh, you can't recognize the flag." Yes, a lot of us are educated to the point where we know what flag and we can identify the flag, but a lot of your flags are inconsequential. A lot of your countries are third world countries that we really don't give a shit about. They're meaningless in the world. No disrespect, and I'm not trying to. Oh fuck it, I don't care. Whoever you want to take it. A lot of your flags are inconsequential. So to that degree, I'm shout out to that brother, because I felt like, again, you let them get into question mode. Keep on asking questions, family. If you take anything from this broadcast, you want to keep asking questions, because these people are going to tell you who they really are and how they really feel. Shout out to that brother for he kept on asking questions, and he got to the bottom of the bullshit.
Yes. Shout out to him. First thing I want to say, I love how he shut down that white girl. Because she tried to butt in. And this is what I tell you. They have a thing where they think their society, they feel as if they're in the parental authority over black people. You know how when your siblings are talking and your parent just gets to butt in, but when your parents are talking, you can't interrupt them. That's how they feel. They feel like they just get to butt into black conversation. Oh, I think he was like, hey, you white, you stay in your little place. Okay. And you saw she was shocked, but she didn't say nothing. She didn't say nothing. She was shocked. She didn't say nothing to the end. Now, follow me with this, y'all. She said she was from London. One of her parents was from London. The other one is from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
How did that other parent get to the Caribbean islands? See, the thing is that when they say, I'm from, what country are you from? Oh, I'm from America. They don't accept, oh, you're not really from America. Where are you really, really from? They say that to us. They say, oh, well, what country are you from? I'm from Jamaica. Oh, answer accepted. Why is their answer accepted? Now, we know that they didn't originate in Jamaica. A lot of them didn't. But when they say they're from anywhere outside of America, that's accepted. Well, when they say, oh, where are your people from? My people are from Nigeria. We don't ever say, well, where are your people really, really from? Are you sure your people are from Nigeria, or did they just move there 50 years ago? To be honest, we were just talking about the definition of Akata. Follow me, family. We were just talking about the definition of Akata, right? And how that means lost cat, or somebody said stray animal in the chat room. Now, as our brother Sage says, he's documented his family history centuries going back. I have traced my family lineage all the way back to plantations. We've all traced our family lineage back. So we have a history and a record. So we know for a fact where we come from. We know where we come from. Our dad, our grandpa, our grandma are all the way back. We know where they're from. They can't do that. So if we're going by the definition of Akata, they're the real Akatas. They're the real lost cats. They're the real stray animals. You see how it works? You see how it all comes around full circle? They're the real Akatas, if we're going to be honest, because everybody besides us fits that definition. They don't know where their people are from. They don't know what the land was called before it was called whatever it's called now. They don't know the religion that was practiced, the food that was eaten, the customs that were adopted by the people. They don't know none of that. They don't speak the native language. They don't know none of that. They're Akatas, family. They're not just tethers. They're Akata tethers.
He said Akata tethers. And by the way, Nigeria was named Nigeria in 1897 by Lady Lagarde. So, like I said, all three of us up here can trace out, first of all, if you are eligible for reparations, you should be able to trace your lineage back to 1860. That's already before the country of Nigeria even existed. So don't tell me where I'm from. Okay. And you know, I just wanted to get that point out. You guys coin yourself and you guys hold pride in something that a white woman named for you. And it was a little bit over 100 years ago that she named that. So there you go.
The damn paint ain't even drying on it, family. The paint ain't even drying on it. And then they run around and say we have no culture. Y'all see the way she was like snuggling next to that W woman too? She knew who her.
Were they a couple? She was like all cuddled up with him. I'm like, okay.
Ooh, she said she done found her goddamn Becky. And Becky done found her in the Akata tether. Shout out to you for that one, brother Afro. I like that. Hey, they're gonna mess around.
see, the disrespect gotta stop. It gotta stop because when they hit, we hit harder. Y'all don't want to get hit, then stop hitting, stop swinging. That's all I'm gonna say. I just came up with that just now. Just now, I just thought of that, and I wouldn't have thought of that if they was respectful, but they not. We just swing harder. We just have heavier fists. That's it. Don't get mad.
Afro said, "Don't be mad. I'm only being real. I'm only being real." That's what happens. And they're gonna be calling in the space looking for you, Afro. You better be careful, fam. You know.
That's what they said. I'm the most hated. I'm one of the most hated.
Man, whoo, shit. Hey, man, they're gonna be calling in the space. They're gonna be calling spaces you ain't even in, family. They're just gonna be calling random fucking spaces, fam. And here, goddamn.
Where Afro at? Where he at? Add him over here. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Man, I want to show you, fam. I got a picture. Since we going there, I got an actual picture of the actual plantation where most people are from. Yeah, it's in South Carolina. We talked about that before, Brother Sage. We talked about that before. Anybody familiar? I don't know anybody who's familiar with it, but it's Honey Pass, South Carolina. That's it right there. Honey Pass, South Carolina. That's the plantation. That's when my people, we traced them all the way back to like the not even the mid, a little bit before the mid, probably like the early 1800s and stuff. We trace them back. So Honey Pass, South Carolina on one side of my family, and then on the other side, it's down to Mississippi through Kentucky and, all throughout the Midwest. So it goes to your guys' point that we can trace our people back. They cannot. So, they just gonna have to live with it. I want to go ahead and wrap this up though, man, because, we done broke it down, family. And I know it's getting late out here on the East Coast. You feel me? But I think we pretty much summed it up, man. There's a lot of FBA hate and FBA strength is stronger. And then like my brother Afro just said, they swing, but we swing back way better, way more accurate. So they don't really know what to do right now. I want to go ahead before we roll out, man, and ask you guys one more question, because I'm always centering it in FBA excellence, as well as my brothers and sisters in the chat. In terms of foundational Black Americans getting everything that we are owed, what do y'all see? Because I'm always trying to prognosticate and forecast the future. What do y'all see as the next step in our evolution? Not maybe the long term, because we know what we're shooting for long term, but what do you guys think is like the next step? We had the OMB, and I was telling everybody, just because the OMB is done does not mean that we need to quit pushing this lineage thing. Because y'all know how the dominant society will be real slick, right? How they'll talk about something in the news for a little bit, and then when it disappears out the news cycle, Black folks will quit talking about it. So a race soldier will harm one of us. It'll be in the news for 2 weeks, right? And then what happened? Brothers and sisters will go protest for an hour and then go back home. The OMB situation, which you guys have seen, me and my two brothers as well, put in a lot of work on that situation. And I want everybody to focus that just because the dominant society made a little list on what they want to call us, it truly at the end of the day does not matter, because we are FBA. We were FBA before the OMB. We'll be FBA after the OMB. So it's on us to continue to push the lineage, and they do it every so often. But if we go hard, and we go strong, and we persevere, and we get through our adversity, then we will force everybody to acknowledge us as such. So gone is African American, gone is POC, gone is minority, and in is foundational Black American, not because they say so, but because we say so. I'll ask you, Brother Afro, and then I'll send it to Sage before we wrap it up. What do you feel are the next steps, as in when we wake up tomorrow morning and when we go on about our day forward? What are the next steps for foundational Black Americans to get all of our reciprocities, and for foundational Black Americans just to continue our excellent string, because our whole lives have been a winning streak?
Great question. I want to say we've recently been talking about the NAACP and dismantling the NAACP. So with organizations like Black Lives Matter that's actually being held accountable, or that people are trying to make be held accountable, with the NAACP, also with the Congressional Black Caucus, I guess. The next step is us actually, we've collected our power, we've solidified our power, our position in society, in Black society. Now it is time for us to implement the punishment mechanism that we've been lacking in Black society for such a long time. So I feel like the next step is starting with the NAACP and start showing them, not only by punishing them, but also giving the rest of these organizations, these frauds and phonies that falsely represent Black Americans' interests. We're going to show them this is a warning, and we're going to use the NAACP as an example of what you do when you are in a position of power and you go the wrong way.
I think we need a full overhaul, new Homestead Act, specifically for our lineage. I think Brother Black hit on it the other day. But I do agree with my brother Afro. We need a punishment mechanism for people that are of the lineage and people that are not of the lineage, but just off code. You cannot thwart progress with, something like, hey, because I'm not included, let me try to get in here and mess this up, or mess up the language over here, or make it so that they can't get it. We need, again, like I said, when we talk about reparations, brother, we're talking about it across the board. We're not just talking about cash payments. Mm-hmm. We're talking about land. We're talking about free schooling. We're talking about non-tax. We're talking about something that's ours, that we were not giving a lot of things. And like I said, I think the Homestead Act will cover all of that. So what's next for us? I think, again, once you see the problem with us, once you give us something, we're going to want more. We're not going to stop at just reparations. Oh, no. We're going to be hitting up private organizations that had something to do with slavery, because the reparations we're talking about is from the government. Okay, what about the House of Morgan? Talking about J.P. Morgan Chase. What about William Wells, Henry Fargo? What about the Vanderbilts? All of these people, these organizations, and that's just to name a few, have something to do with our enslavement. They all owe. So again, all of this needs to be broken down. I am not the person to do it. I'm not qualified. I would leave that to a Claude Anderson or someone like that on that level, not Umar. I would leave it to someone that's qualified to speak on that. And again, once you give us a little bit, we'll take them out. And the only reason why they haven't given it to us is because they know we're not just going to buy Jordans.
They're afraid of that, family. I always tell people, I almost feel like they try to tell us that stuff so they can almost like reverse psychology on us. So, but y'all know y'all going to go get them Jordans, right? Y'all know y'all going to get them Cadillacs, so we'll go do it. But in reality, they're afraid of us building a community, circulating money, building another Black Wall Street, those type of endeavors. That's really what they're afraid of. I always tell people, though, family, they're not afraid of 50 million of us getting reparations. They're afraid of 50 of us getting reparations, because 50 of us will get reparations and we'll serve all 50 million of us. All it takes is what I always call, y'all know what I always say, man, the certified 100. That's all it takes. It didn't take, every Black person to be on the same page during slavery. It just took the certified 100. It didn't take every Black person to be on the same page during the Reconstruction era. It just took the certified 100. It didn't take all Black folks during the Civil Rights era to get everything that we got. It just took the certified 100, and that's really what we're all doing now. We're all operating as that certified 100, and our certified 100 changes the world. It goes to what you just said, Brother Afro. When you can swing as hard as we can swing and you can hit as hard as we can hit, you don't need everybody to swing. All you need is just a few of us. And once a few of us get it in, everybody else follows. I like the 2 points you guys just made in terms of what we're doing, and for everybody in the chat, you know what I'm saying? This is what it is right now, strategizing. I love the part about getting real punishment for folks, because that's the thing we've been missing is punishment. So we need to start punishing them, like my brother Afro said. We need to start going at all these other people, as well as what my brother Sage said. And something that I would, like to do, and y'all know we spoke about this in the back channels. I want to get to the point where we start to put some people on that Summer Jam screen, and not just on an episode of the Black AlphaCast, but actual documentation of people who are anti-reparations. Meaning, if your ass goes on an anti-FBA reparations tour, or you pull what the NAACP did and come out and say, no, we don't want the money. We want this, and this. I want the community to come together, formulate an actual document, and start grading people on their reparations performance. Meaning, if your ass comes out against reparations, we will give your ass a failing grade. Anytime you speak about us, we will have a watchdog agency on your ass quick, fast, and hurry. So if you come out and you say something that is anti-reparations, and we pull out this fucking list, and we could say this group, that group, NCOBRA, the Democratic Party as a whole, NAACP, Black Lives Matter, they have never supported foundational Black American reparations. They have been anti-foundational Black American reparations, and they ran interference on it. So therefore, we got their names documented in the think tank on paper, so we can point to that shit immediately anytime they're trying to talk, and then we can run their ass off the block. So what I want to do as a family, I want to actually create documentation that shows all the motherfuckers who done failed us, all the motherfuckers who done sold us out, and all the motherfuckers who done try to flip the game on us, and some, put it on paper to where we can point to these people and run them off the block. And if you think about it, everything my brothers just said, that would all tie in. It would all tie into just one big step for all of us, because we some big steppers. So no longer is people going to try to run that game on us. No longer is any of that. So y'all probably see me and my brothers here soon, hopefully, working on something. And I want the help from everybody in the chat and everybody listening, where we can come up with an actual watchdog agency. We can come up with an actual documentation of who is really for foundational Black American reparations and who isn't. Because, by the way, you're starting to see a lot of people come out and say they're for reparations and then pivot on us and start. There's some people, I ain't gonna say who have written books about reparations, and now we're starting to see them come out and say some anti-reparation shit. So we need to enlighten the community of, just because a motherfucker says they down for reparations don't really mean they down for reparations. And once we create that Summer Jam screen, nobody is safe. But with that said, family, we done broke it down all the way across the board. We see the conspiracy against foundational Black Americans runs intercontinental. It runs intergenerational, interracial. It's all the way across the board. Foundational Black Americans as a lineage, heritage, and culture really has everybody shook. I'm not going to go there on this episode, but we're all watching that whole Donald Trump situation. And I tell everybody, trust and believe. When you got one guy who wants to bring in 11 million illegals, and you got another person saying that he's going to build a wall, that is fucking with supremacy's attack on us. You have an erasure going on with our community where they're trying to replace us with 11 million people. And then when we're calling that out, but yet we're seeing the other guy say on his first day, not second, third, or fourth, on his first day, he's going to start the biggest mass deportation process ever. You starting to see charges and trying to prevent it. So don't think for 1 second that foundational Black Americans are not in these people's minds when they start doing all these other things. They may not say it, they may not speak it, but when it comes to the Ukraine, it comes to Donald Trump, it comes to everyday education, we in their brains. They're thinking about foundational Black Americans, because foundational Black Americans are the center of this country and everything revolves around us. So watch them, spot them, frame them, and after you do all that, you understand the type of game they on, but their game is never as good as ours. Brother Afro Elite, man, you could tell everybody where they can find you, family. You done dropped some smoke today, man. I'm thinking about that together, man.
Thank you. First Black Alpha, I want to thank you for having me. This was fun. It was educational. It was empowering. Salute to everybody in the audience. And what our brother said, if we do another project, if we have another project, if we do anything, a petition, anything like that, there's like 200 people in the room. Y'all got to be the first ones on it. Come on. So when we have another thing, we need that support. We need the retweets. We need the likes, all that stuff. But you can find me on first YouTube, which is just Afro Elite on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram, which is Afro Elite on Instagram, and then Twitter, which is the Afro Elite on Twitter. So, but mainly YouTube, and that's just Afro Elite on YouTube.
Hey, Afro, they can also find you in people's minds, man, rent free, brother, because them motherfuckers be mad at you.
For real. I honestly think that like my voice like triggers people. Like my voice, like it bothers people. Just I don't even be saying nothing about them. It just I hurt them that bad. I really do. I traumatize people. I honestly do. They wake up in cold sweats and all that.
Woo, ballers gonna ball, haters gonna hate, family all day.
Yeah. Yes.
Brother Sage, man, where can everybody find you at, my brother?
Yes. You can go to my website, BogartRecords.com. You can get all my latest music. I will be dropping something. I don't like speaking about it unless it's out. I know Afro gets on me all the time about that. My partner's in the chat. I'm actually gonna be working with someone that's how can I put this? Someone's gonna be doing my art very soon, Tori and Rain. But regardless of that, I'm not gonna say who it is. But regardless of that, shout out to the family. You can catch me on Twitter at Sage Station. I believe that's my name on Twitter. You can catch me on IG at callhim.sage. DM me, nothing vulgar, please. Shout out to the family that's in here. Shout out to my brother Beat. Shout out to my brother Torian Rain. I thought I saw Lioness Crown. I know I saw Jade in here. Sister Marion, we love you. Blueberry Muffin, all of you guys. I'm sorry, all of you. I don't want to miss anyone. I love all of you guys. Thank you again for just supporting us and just listening to the words that we have, giving you guys. Please take all the knowledge that we give you and give it back to us tenfold, because we're still learning. Like our brother Neely Fuller says, I don't know everything. Afro doesn't know everything. Black doesn't know everything. So we still want to learn from you guys the same way you guys learn from us. So again, thank you guys again. I think my brother Black is going to have gray hair before he finishes that list of people. That's going to take you a very long time. I do not envy the job that you have put upon yourself. But if you're going to do that, brother, I support you 100%. And I will be back to give out the Coon Train Awards.
Yes, family. I appreciate it, man. That's why I'm bringing my brothers with me, man, because y'all boys be putting in that work, family, all day, fam, all day. All right,
I'm
y'all.
not as hated online as Afro, y'all.
Man,
so
you put us together, fam.
I'm not as hated as
man.
So
yeah.
Be one to the family, though. Always love.
Be one family.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, family. Y'all stay. Y'all know how we do. Y'all stay. Don't ride out all the way, family.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, I ain't going.
I know. Hey, man.
Now they know we be talking out when the cameras are off.
Real, come on, man.
Hey, man, we got to come up somehow with these great ideas, fam. Everybody out there, let me go ahead and bring my people down here, man. First off, salute to everybody. Thanks for everybody for pulling on in to the Black Alpha Network. Black Alpha, I have to show y'all this book, Spirituality Before Religion. This is Dr. Kaba Hiawatha Kamene. I met him again. I met him multiple times, but I met him again in Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all make sure y'all support this brother. Go get his book. Just support the brother everywhere he's at, man. His Cash App. Check out the video I just did with him last Tuesday. All the links are in the description, but you guys make sure you support our brother. When I got a chance to see him this weekend, I told him thank you on behalf of everybody from the Black Alpha Network and Certified Black Society. He was very gracious and he wanted me to tell everybody hello, man. So you guys make sure you support our brother 100% the same way you support everybody. I thank everybody who has supported the Cash App. Y'all have no idea how much that humbles me, because at the end of the day, everything we deal with, all this hard work and dealing with anti-blackness and anti-FBA, it's just a long thing that we got to deal with. So for anybody to support the Black Alpha Network with your money, man, I appreciate that. And I'm going to take all that and I'm going to put it towards everything that we do in terms of Black empowerment, trying to help foundational Black American people in school, trying to help foundational Black American people who are homeless, and just keeping it foundational Black American all the way across the board. With that said, man, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I want everybody to go ahead and have a great night, have a great day, stay certified. I can go all day long because y'all know I never run out of energy. Shout out to DMX. Yes, indeed. But you guys have a great night. Salute to the chat. Y'all pull back up to the Black Alpha Network. Let's continue to roast them. Let's continue to do our thing. Let's continue to stay ourselves, which is foundational, Black American, excellent and exceptional. And with that said, good night. Power to all of our people. Black is beautiful, and beautiful is always Black. One love.
Yeah, what y'all think? If you whatever the fuck you think you are, and until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we